And most people think wealth is all about how much money they earn. But the truth is that wealth is not primarily determined by the amount of money that is coming in, but wealth is only determined by what you do after the income has arrived into your bank account, into your businesses, how you are able to apportion it. To multiply business, they confuse income with wealth. Income is a flow. Wealth is a stockpile of productive assets. They consume before they invest. They seek comfort before ownership, and they pursue appearance before assets. The difference between allocation and multiplication is that allocation is where you place your resources, your income, and also multiplication is those resources and how you grow them.
Welcome to the Julius Aroba podcast, a platform for conversations on leadership, innovation, artificial intelligence, and global development. Hosted by Prof. Oluwasegun Julius Aroba, Professor of Artificial Intelligence, Global Speaker, Educator, and Business Mentor.
In this particular episode, we're going to be talking about major difference between allocation and multiplication. Also, what are the 10 ways the rich manage their time? Most people think wealth is all about how much money they earn. But the truth is that wealth is not primarily determined by the amount of money that is coming in, but wealth is only determined by what you do after the income has arrived into your bank account, how you are able to apportion it. The difference between being wealthy and being poor is making use of the right opportunity in terms of the education and in terms of even the income that comes to you. Because for every income that comes to you, there is always the past, the present, and the future in that income. One of the things is that money has a spirit, it has a soul, it has mind, and it is also very important for you to know, because the difference between allocation and multiplication is that allocation is where you place your resources, your income. Multiplication is those resources and how you grow them, how you multiply them. Allocation is also strategy in how you are able to apportion them accordingly, because if you don't apportion them, there is no how you can be able to put these things in place. While multiplication is the outcome of where you are able to sow the seed and how you are able to apportion those. And again, when we talk about allocation strategy, we talk about multiplication, which is income. Allocation is also planting, because how you are able to plant those seeds for every money that comes into your life. You know that there is always a strategy that is important, which is how you are able to allocate it. When we talk about understanding allocation is international placement of resources. It means that that money that is coming to you, or those things that you have within your environment, and you are able to intentionally place them in terms of their resources, which include your time, it include your money, it include your skills, it include relationship, it include the knowledge that you have, it also include the opportunity that you have, because every successful person is an expert allocator. When a person receives, for example, 1,000, they know immediately how to make the right allocation to that $1,000 or 1,000 yen or 1,000 pounds that they've actually have in terms of decisions. Do they spend it? That is another question you're going to be asking yourself in the waiting, because whatever you do in this world, it's how you are able to save, how you are able to be able to wait in that area. When you invest it, is it that you are investing it? It means that you want to be able to double the numbers of experiments you do per year or per month, and you are going to be able to see how it is effective in terms of inventiveness for whatever that you do. Another thing is, when the allocation comes, do you know how to allocate, how to educate yourself? The best investment you can make in yourself is to start a business. But do you know how to start business? Maybe you're a career person or you are an entrepreneur. Have you been able to see what kind of businesses and what your competitors are doing in the market that you can be able to specifically position yourself in your life? Again, the future is hidden inside those allocation and decisions that you make in life. Because if you don't have the right decisions and the right allocation, there is no how you can be able to make the right decisions in anything that you've got in this world. Again, do not save what is left after you spend. Only spend after what you have saved. It's one of the things I always tell everybody in our masterclasses, in mentorship, as a mind surgeon. You want to wait for every income or profit that comes into your mind. You've got to be able to know how to allocate them accordingly, because allocation determines destination. You remember, I say allocation is planting, and it is also how you are able to allocate them in the right order. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. You must never give up when you are allocating those resources. You've got to learn to know how to be able to allocate them properly, because allocation is the GPS of that which determines how you are going to be able to arrive. It is the car of your investment, of your future. A lot of people are only living, but they're not existing. They are working cops because they do not know how to allocate. They don't know how to be able to multiply what God has given to them. Now, when we talk about understanding of multiplication, let's now delve into that deeply. Multiplication is the process of making resources grow, which after you've done the decision of allocating them, putting them in the right soil, putting them in the right investment, saving them in the right proper channel, so that they don't just be a savings, but you are investing them. The wealthy people do not merely earn money. They overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. The question here is, what are you multiplying? What are those skills? What are those knowledge? What are those investments? What are those opportunities that God has given to you that you are multiplying? I don't know how long you've been listening to these master classes and episode and podcasts, or maybe if you've never even been able to be religiously following us, I want to beg you, I want to implore you, just do me a favor by going to www.juliusaroba.com, by sending us messages, or make sure you drop your comments. And also, if you want to go to the YouTube channel, or you go to Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple Podcasts, I want you to do me a favor by making sure you subscribe, you click on that button, because when you like it, it's going to give me joy and our team, because this is also going to help the algorithms to know that you are enjoying this content. Share and drop your comment on this video. Don't just watch it and just leave, because when you do this, the algorithm is going to determine that you have an intelligent ear. If you have been a student of this masterclass and you're improving yourself, it is time for you to now multiply. The wealthy people do not only earn money, and again, what they do in 1 year, they can actually do it in 10 years. When you're able to look at the power of visioning, you are able to position, because vision is what drives you, and that multiplication will be driving you to be able to know how to put those things in place, that anything you have in your resources within you, your skill, your talent, your network, your efforts, your team, your product, your services can actually be multiplied. Because when you create everything that has to do with a system, it can multiply. Without a system, there is no way you can multiply. A multiplication is to know. Again, when we talk about multiplication, we talk about compounding, because the first rule of compounding is never interrupt it unnecessarily. When you want to compound, whenever you are making profit, you want to be able to reinvest in that business. Do not be interrupted. Do not be carried away. What you need to do is to make sure you keep multiplying, because the action that you take, it's what will help you. Poor people are not patient enough to wait. They just want to spend and go. But the wealthy people know the power of patience. If you've never started seeing results, what I want you to do is to start taking some of the steps I'm going to be discussing. Don't forget, you cannot be wealthy with only word of mouth. If you don't put anything into work, there is no how you can become more solid in those things that you do. When we understand the power of compounding, you've got to know that compounding is multiplication in action. Because when you want to multiply, you've got to put the money into the right area. A seed becomes a tree. If you know fruitfulness, multiplication is intertwined with fruitfulness, because it is a seed that becomes a tree. When you look at the orange that you ate, that seed, when you plant it, is going to give you a bunch of tree. And that bunch of tree, we have multiple seed on them. That is what we call compounding. And it takes time because a tree does not grow in a day. And it also comes to do with collaboration and partnership. Poor people don't like to collaborate with people. They don't have patience. They are not meek. They're not humble. A tree becomes a forest, and $1 can become $10,000. It depends on where you're sowing it. It depends on how you're able to multiply it. And what differentiates the poor and the rich is the right information and the right application and putting the right system in place. And that is why if you are not conversant on some of these things, we actually started in recent time what we call the palm tree. And that palm tree business for agriculture is that you are going to be earning after 5 years for 40 to 50 years sporadically. We have that kind of business as well as what we do in Arosegling Zillionaire. If you're looking for what kind of investment to invest in a country called Nigeria, or perhaps you are based in a country called England or South Africa or United Kingdom or US, please speak to us because we have different investment in a different area. For example, if you want to be able to compound whatever you have, you can actually go into businesses in terms of real estate. You can buy a property with 10 people and 10 of you can actually distribute the profit over time. That is power of compounding. And before you know it, you can be replicating that system every 5 years or every 3 years, depending on kind of agreement that you guys have together. Maybe you collect the rental, you save them over time, you use it to buy another property, and like that, that's how you replicate. And that's how we call compounding. Remember, for $10 become $100, and $100 become 1,000. And multiplication is the natural language when you want to be able to understand multiplications, because wealth only follow principles. Poor people do not understand what principles and discipline are. If you want to be able to multiply, if you want to be able to subdue, my Bible says subdue the earth. It says wherever the sole of your feet shall tread upon, you shall possess the land. A lot of people are only studying the Bible, but they don't know the application of the word of God. And again, I'm not here to preach, but the thing is, God has given a seed in you, and the multiplication is also in you. It all depends on how you are able to activate and naturalize it in your internal spirit, through your spirit to the vision mind, and your mind will become open and you can become a witty inventor. The thing I'm going to ask you is, you that you are watching me right now, listening every time, when last did you drop a comment on this video? When last did you drop a comment on what you've gained, what you've learned in these master classes? Remember, if you are able to drop comment, this will help every other person to know, even the algorithms and those that own these various platforms, to know that this is an intelligent conversation, and it shows that you have an intelligent ear. But where have you been? How long have you been following us? And have you been able to subscribe to the Instagram, Aroseglings, AROSEGLINKS, or on Twitter, on Aroseglings, or maybe on LinkedIn? You want to go to Aroseglings Zillionaire, you join our group, or Julius Aroba on LinkedIn, join our group, subscribe to it. Or perhaps you want to be able to book your team for some of this training to be able to learn how to compound. You've got to go to www.juliusaroba.com. Or perhaps you want to get some of the books and principles that we've written. You want to get the books called The Wealth Code or The Wealth Beyond the Lifetime. And I want you to go to www.juliusaroba.com at this moment. If you do me a favor by dropping positive comments, liking, sharing this video to your community, to your friends, to the nations, let this video go viral. Because if it doesn't go viral, your people will not know. Do you know that you are not meant to be selfish? The rich, they share the right information and the right application. Now, let's look at biblical foundation of multiplications. God created the world so that we can actually multiply, because the Bible has actually repeatedly teaches us about multiplication. And in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, it said, be fruitful and multiply. Remember, we're talking about allocator and multiplication. Notice that God did not say merely survive. God did not just tell a human being, if you are in the stage of survival, you've got to go back to some of our videos and go and listen to them and take notes and take the right steps. Because we've talked about from survival to the wealthy place that you're meant to be. I don't know how long you are and how old you are, but do you know that you are not meant to be in that state of where you are now? The Wealth Code or The Wealth Beyond a Lifetime. If you have been able to pick those books, how are you going to be? Where are you going to be by this time? Where are you going to be? Imagine if this secret by these three great men have actually been written. This is not a faraway book. I know you know a lot of books, but I'm not here to tell you many more. There's a lot of books. If you look, you will see. Because the more you look, the more you reap in life. Do you know that there are some seed and talent that God has given to you? But are you burying that? What would God say when you die? When you leave this platform, are you going to die empty? There was a day I was praying that, God, if I'm going to be living this world, I want to live empty. When I look down to the earth, I want to say, God, either you've helped me. Thank you. If you're struggling in getting that to discover your purpose, please go to some of our past videos and episodes at Dr. Julius Aroba on podcast, on YouTube, on Amazon, and listen to them. And also take notes, subscribe, comment on them. You will see a lot of people have left a lot of testimonies. Or perhaps you can write to us on our email. If you and your team want us to be able to come true, I want you to know that it takes you everything that you've got. If you are not able to see that your talent is not buried, the servants who multiplied them were rewarded accordingly. Are you going to be rewarded with the talent that God has given to you? The servant who merely preserved was rebuked. Are you going to be rebuked? The lesson is clear. In everything we do, God only rewards multiplications, not stagnation. You keep complaining every day, every time. You keep putting a caveat and principle every time. But this is not the time for you to do that, because everything you need is in you. And this is the time for you to be able to go far in anything you do in life, because God can only reward you for greatness. And God said, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measures, pressed down and shaken together and running over. Again, that is what I call multiplication. Because if you don't give, there is no how you can be able to get. If you are not able to press down, there's no how you can. If you're not able to shake together, there is no how you can be able to run over. Now, planting, allocation, multiplication is resources and destination. Let's take some case study today. First case study is that of Sir Aliko Dangote. The power of industrial multiplication. When you look at the power of multiplication by Sir Aliko Dangote, one of the African most remarkable wealth stories that belongs to him is that many people think he became wealthy through selling only product, but not exactly. He mastered how to have the right allocation and multiplication. Again, what kind of steps did he take to be able to trade? He was able to allocate into trade. That is step number one. He began by trading commodities. And what are the kind of commodities? He started with basic products. He had the right allocation into trade. And step two of what he did was that he studied the power of demand and supply. He discovered Africa imported too much. He didn't just jump into it. He studied the market. He had the right mentor. Somebody like Dr. Julius Aroba. You see, if you have Dr. Julius as one of the mentors, you'll be able to go far. Step number three of what he did was that he allocated capital into productions. He is not only buying and selling. Instead of merely selling the products, or he invested into manufacturing of plants in various areas. This changed everything. And this is one thing I always tell people. These products you are always buying from different areas. Do you know that you can actually collaborate with people? Maybe you have a product that you have been struggling with and it's been doing very well and you have a high demand for it. It is an opportunity for you to be able to collaborate with the RSEG Link Zillionaire. And this is one of the things we do within the community. We support ourselves in terms of finances and how to be able to increase your business and set up businesses in different countries. And this is the time. Please drop us a message and drop us a comment, because we are here to hold your hand and to also mentor you. Remember, a lot of people go through schools in life. When they were in basic school, they only have a teacher. When they go to secondary school, they have teachers. Instead of one teacher, teachers. But when they are in university, they now graduate from teacher to lecturer. And most people, after they are done from the varsity 4 walls, they stop having what I call lecturers, and they start facing the world of life. And at the end of the day, what you need at that point is what I call the mentor. And that is why the mind surgeon, Dr. Julius Aroba and the team, they are here to be able to assist you. step number 4 of what he did was that he owned the supply chain. When I mean supply chain, instead of the product alone, he started having trucks. He started having machineries to be able to deliver them in different countries. And looking at the shipping line, the route of how the product can actually be able to get to the last mile distribution. Now, for your business and your product, have you been able? Because the problem why you are struggling is because you don't have the right people in your team. You are not speaking to the right mentor. And this is one thing we've done. We created a lot of value chain globally. When I told some people that we have a lot of businesses, it means that we're not just doing it alone. We don't do business alone. We do business with each other. We create a Jewish community within ourselves. And we practice that because you can't just see the Jew just floating all around. The real money is in the right collaboration, the right association, the right group of people that are going to the same destination of where you want to go to in life. Ownership multiply margins, and profit will always increase when you own it, when you're able to have the right logistic for it. A few days ago, one of my mentees, there was a business that we had a problem in 2020, and we were actually discussing about it. And some of the partners, they actually had meeting. And do you know that when I was looking at some of those things, we were making, which I'm not going to mention the numbers, and at the end of the day, that business had an ECOT. But do you know that when a business actually closed down, when you have a problem in that business, does not mean the end of the world. Every business always has its own challenges. And at the end of the day, what did we do in that business? We now set up version 2.0, and we're about to kick off now to be able to go to that place. Imagine if Elon Musk failed, if it's the first time that he failed in terms of when he started the business of Tesla. Do you know it wouldn't have actually been by now? Or maybe SpaceX. Do you know it wouldn't have actually been able to succeed by now? But a few days ago, it was actually announced that he is the first trillionaire on earth. Do you know that you can actually be a trillionaire and millionaire and billionaire? So, number 5, what did Sir Aliko Dangote took? What kind of steps after he's owned the supply chain? Is that he reinvested. Remember, number 1, allocate into trade. Step number 2, he study demand. Step number 3, he allocate capital into production, having your own factory manufacturing. Step 4, owning the supply chain. And step 5, he reinvest. Now, rather than him consuming those products or people consuming the products, he reinvested them. Each investment funded the next investment. From sugar to rice, from rice to tomato paste, from tomato paste to agriculture, from agriculture to real estate, from real estate to oil and gas. Now, do you see what happened? For every businesses we create, just like RSEG study abroad, it's able to create RSEG Zillionaire. RSEG Zillionaire is able to create Dream Riser projects and so on and so forth, which I'm not going to be enumerating because this particular masterclass is not for that. But the thing is, every business must always create a subsidiaries, must always create branches. You don't just create branches when the business has not actually had its own footstool. Even in the product, for example, Dream Riser Project is a cleaning company that we own. And we saw that there was a lot of demand for cleaning products, and we started manufacturing. We started creating the liquid wash, the hand sanitizer, and so on and so forth, because we saw the demand. And that is what Sir Aliko Dangote did. And he did not actually stop there. He reinvested and he compounded and compounded and compounded. And again, he never did it alone. Again, what is the result? He was able to trade and become the industry. And the industry became billions today. Now, the lesson I want to teach you here in this first case study is that income creates cash. Knowledge is first investment. What people don't pay for, they don't pay attention. When I told some persons that I started investing into my knowledge as at 2013, they said they can never spend those kind of money for that. Do you know that your head is your head office? What you have here will take you far. Every other thing can be taken away, but what is in the mind, in the knowledge, can never be taken away from you. Today, imagine if you have the right knowledge. Do you think you will be where you are by now? Imagine if you have the right people who have actually made mistake in that business and they've gone far. Do you know that you will not be where you are by now? Imagine if you are very daring, you take the risk at the right time, and you are able to speak to the right mentor like Dr. Julius Aroba, and you are able to be in our community of RSEG Zillionaire, and you are able to discuss about business. You are able to hang out with us. You are able to learn the principles. You attend the World Summit, the Global World Summit that we do annually. Do you know that you will not be where you are? You are just on that WhatsApp group. You are just on that Facebook group. You are just on the LinkedIn group without taking proper action. Do you know that that is not the right step? You've got to now start paying into some of these workshops, conferences, because what you don't pay for, you don't pay attention. By the time you are able to pay, you will get the secret of the ingredient of how to be able to multiply your wealth. A lot of people don't like to learn. They just want to jump into businesses. And when you jump into that business, you start competing with people. Imagine if you're able to have mentors like Sir Aliko Dangote. If you go through some of our Instagram, you'll find out I was one of his mentees at the early stage in life. And today, to the glory of God, we have never been where we're meant to be. And the thing is, you've got to have the right mentor. And this is some of the things that some of us even pay for on time. Warren Buffett paid over time. And number 2 was that he was able to allocate small amounts. He started investing as a child. Not millions, just small amounts. I don't know how much you have, that you think if you spend it now, that's going to be the end. But that is never going to be the end. This is the time for you to now put in time and effort, resources, and start compounding. Start looking for what to invest. If you want to be able to get a mentor, if you want to be able to us to guide you through what kind of investments you can do that can be bringing in more money on monthly basis or annual basis, why not go to www.juliusaroba.com and sign up for the mentorship classes? And for about an hour, for about $100 or £100, you can be able to get some of those things that can help you to catapult you to where you want to go to. Book for a session one-on-one or one-to-many, depending on your organization, or you're looking for us to be able to come to speak to your community. Go to www.juliusaroba.com and we can be able to. You don't need to have millions to start making proper money. Warren Buffett started with small allocation. Step number 3 of what Warren Buffett did, he bought quality assets. He focused on businesses with long-term value. He started buying businesses. And this is the stage where we are now in Arosegling Zillionaire. We started buying businesses and we are investing into businesses and franchises globally, irrespective of the location. If you have the right information, the right group, if you have some money that you have in your place, that you've been looking for what to do, we have a lot of businesses on the table that we have proven results that you can invest into. You've got to focus on long-term and not short-term value. Number 4 steps that Warren Buffett did was that he stayed invested. When I mean he stayed invested, most investors interrupt growth. Most investment, they actually go through along the line. They even get to lose. And Warren Buffett allowed time to multiply investments. Stay in. If you want to be wealthy, the rich and the wealthy people always like to wait. Number 5, which is the 5th step of what Warren Buffett did, he let compounding work. As the profit was coming through, year after year, he was not actually changing car upon cars. It was decade upon decades. If you see Warren Buffett, he was still staying in the old house where he has, but he has Berkshire. He has so many businesses in the globe today. And at the end of the day, you will find out that the real wealth is in the power of compounding. Because imagine what you have now. If you miss that 5 years or the millionaire traits that we've talked about in our last episode, and masterclass, please go back to go and check what millionaire traits, the traits in millionaires are and billionaires. You've got to go back to go check them because this is going to help you. The multiplication became exponential when Warren Buffett waited decade upon decade. It was compounding them, adding them. Buffett famously said, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Imagine if you plant that seed. Do you know that the seed will actually be a cover for you when there is wind? Your idea will only die with you when you don't have the right proper channel of mentorship to be able to guide you through. Case study number 3 is about African digital economy, which is Zimbabwe, and I call it Strive Misiwa. Stripe Misiwa transformed telecommunication across Africa. And he had only 5 steps that we're going to talk about. And after these 5 steps, I want you not to just be waiting in this class like that. And what did Mr. Stripe Misiwa did? If you check some of our Instagram pictures, you will see that we've been under his mentorship over time. And I learned from people that have done what I want to do in life. Myself and our group. That's what we did. And what did he do? Step number 1. He identified a problem because he knows that many people lack communication services in the world. Some days ago, we were told that telecommunication in some industry took over and they actually stopped some of their services in some of those areas. But what did he do? He was able to see that there was a gap in the communication. And what did he do? Number 2, he was able to allocate knowledge. Today, Mr. Stripe Masiwa is actually into AI space. And I'm happy because I'm part of the professors in artificial intelligence in Africa. And this is one thing that I do. We create systems for a lot of organizations. And I want you, if you want an artificial intelligence embedded into your businesses, you've got to stay and come to us. Go to www.juliusaroba, or you even search for some of the things that we've done, some of the applications that we've done. If you go to Google Scholar, you can type Oluwasegun Julius Aroba up, Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba. You see a lot of applications from health to mining, from mining to schools, from schools to hospitals. We've actually been able to apply artificial intelligence in every area. We've created systems that can help you. He was able to study the knowledge. If you notice, Sir Aliko Dangote did not just start. He had the right knowledge. If you notice, Warren Buffett did not just start. He was able to have the right knowledge. And even Dr. Stripe Masiwa, he was able to study the trend in technology. Number 3, he stayed true by persisting through the challenges. Because everything, there's always challenges in business. Licensing battles delay the progress. To get license from different countries upon countries, it's always a lot of nightmare. But he never gave up. I know if he tells you how much he lost in terms of millions of dollars in different partnership and collaboration and lessons that he has learned from some of the things that we actually learned from him. You see, this thing is actually something that requires patience. One of my mentors once told me that if you never lose $500,000 or $1 million, yet worth $1 million. And I learned it in a hard way. In 2020, we lost a couple of money. When I mean a couple of money, in millions of dollars. But here we are today. We are stronger. We're doing far better in the real estate space, in the technology space, in the agriculture space, in knowledge and wealth education space, and so on and so forth, in crypto space, and so on and so forth. We're doing stronger and better because we only pay school fees, we never lose money. Step number 4 is that when Sir Misiwa Stripe had a lot of licensing battles and delayed and progress, he did not give up. He built infrastructure. Instead of chasing quick profits, he built networks, fiber cables, networks from one country to the other, one continent to the other. He built Econets and so on and so forth, different telecommunications. And today, he was able to scale, which is number 5. He scaled across borders. Look at growth through multiplying by expanding. You cannot just expand your business if you've not been able to set up the right structure, right country, regional offices, regional structures in place, and from one country to the other. And you're able to have the right partnership with the right key decision makers. Now, if you're looking for investors into your business, in RSX Zillionaire, we have investors, but your business must have done minimum of 5 years. You don't just bring a business to us. We must have seen the numbers because men lie, women lie, but numbers and report does not lie. Now, what were the results? It created millions of people. It connected them through communication, and thousands of people were employed. And this is what we do on our animal husbandry in a country called Benin Republic. We actually have a very big hectares of land where we have animal inns there. We employ people to work for us. And today, that business is actually moving on. It created billions, created in economic value, and we are adding value to the businesses of the country. Please move to this place, please. And I want you to know that you've got to be able to move to the right location, because the right location will be in the right avenue. Again, the lesson here is that it solves large problems, and large solution attract large reward. And what are the 7 steps for multiplying the framework you've got to earn? Number 1, multiplication exists without a seed. No multiplication exists without a seed, because in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 6 says, sow your seed in the morning, so that when you are old, you can be able to reap from those. Step number 2 is to allocate, divide every income into a simple model that can work for you. We've talked about how to be able to divide them. If you've missed the master classes, please go through master classes in different channels and you comment on them. And number is that if you have a income that comes steadily, look at your living expenses, 50%, for example, investing 20%, learning 10%. 10% for giving and 10% for opportunities. You invest. A lot of people does not have formula. 50, 20, 10, 10, 10, or 60, 30, 10, or 30, 30, 20, 10, 10, 10%. It depends on what can work for you. Number 3, which is step number 3 under the wealth multiplication, is that education. Educate yourself, because the greatest asset is not money, it is your knowledge. And one of my mentors once said, the author of Rich and Poor Dad once said, financial intelligence is made of 4 main technical skills, which is knowledge multiplies through money. And step number 4, invest. Because money must move from one consumption to ownership. You don't just want to be consuming from time to time. You want to own businesses. You want to own stocks. You want to own real estate. You want to own intellectual property. You want to own IP rights. You want to own books. You want to own conglomerates. You've got to invest. Have the right mentor. Invest. Go to www.juliusaroba.com and book for paid mentorship. Step number 6 is that number 5 is that you've got to reinvest. Do not spend all profits. Reinvest them. This creates exponential growth, and most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Step number 6, remember, I mentioned that there are 7 steps in wealth multiplication. So, step number 6 is to scale systems, multiply faster. Step number 5 for those who actually makes it is reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. Do not spend all profits, reinvest them. This creates exponential growth. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And step number 6 is to scale, because system creates faster than labor. 1 worker has limits. Remember, 10 workers have limits. A system can operate globally if you are able to have the right. Number 7 is to think legacy. Wealth beyond a lifetime. Think legacy. Wealth becomes powerful when it outlives you. Don't build a business for yourself. Warren Buffett, Sir Aliko Dangote, and so on and so forth, all of them built a system legacy. Not for only their generation, not for generations and generations to come. Because my Bible also says a good person in the book of Proverbs chapter 13 verse 22 says a good person leaves an inheritance for their children. Why many people fail to multiply business? They confuse income with wealth. Income is a flow. Wealth is a stockpile of productive assets. They consume before they invest. They seek comfort before ownership. And they pursue appearance before assets. And also, the wealth reverses the sequence. Lifestyle is meant to be later, but asset first. African opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in Africa. Africa is entering one of the greatest wealth creation period in history and life in this day and age. In terms of agriculture, renewable energy, fintech, logistics, manufacturing, artificial intelligence, digital educations, and so on and so forth. Because the next African billionaire might be you, watching, listening. Because billionaire may not come from oil and gas. It might come just like what we are seeing today. Many may come from data, may come from technology, may come from innovation, witty inventions, may come from scalable solutions. The question is not whether opportunity exists, but the question I'm going to raise to you here today is whether will you allocate your resources wisely enough to be able to multiply them. So what are the 10 ways how to be able to manage your day and how the rich actually multiply their day? If you cannot manage a day, how will you be able to manage a week? If you cannot manage a week, how can you be able to manage a month? How will you manage a year, which is a lifetime? It is very important for us to note that the day that make up the weeks, they make up weeks, and weeks makes up months, and month makes up a year, and a year makes up decades. Likewise, everything we do in life and the years make up a lifetime, which is decade upon decade. Everything we do is a result of our habits. And that is why when we talk about allocation, multiplication, the framework of multiplication, you've got to know how to allocate your time. Remember, I talked about resources, talked about skills, talked about knowledge, talked about income. And your time is very important. Everything we do is a result of our habit of what we do from time to time. Just because if you want to become wealthy, you've got to know how the rich and the wealthy people live. The habit helps you to crystallize the way your life will end. You've got to start with a purpose in mind, not reaction. Number one, rich people are always motivated daily. Some even wake up so early. As poor people, they always wake up early, but they stay motivated. Poor people, they live a fire brigade life. Immediately they wake up, they just run to hit the road. They report to the office. But most wealthy people and highly successful people do not just begin their day by checking social medias or emails or newsfeed. They begin with attention. What do we do? The rich read motivational books in the morning. They study. They take positive steps of what they have to do, and they read them, they digest them. They identify the most important objectives of what they need to do for that day. And the world start demanding, before the world will start demanding their attention, they look at the most tedious task for that day, and they focus on that so that the energy can actually help them. They focus on positive aspect of their day. They learn to listen to audios. They read books. They learn to read books. They learn to be able to walk in the right direction and make their life easier to make the targets. And as Warren Buffett often has also emphasized over time, that is productive principles. Success comes from focusing on what matters rather than reacting to everything. Own your money before the world will own it. Always own your money. Number two is that they protect their prime hours. The wealthy people understand that not all hours are equally valuable. They reserve their peak energy hours for activities that create the highest return. And this may include maybe strategic thinking, strategic path planning, decision making, investing, business development, innovation. They do not waste their best hours on low value tasks. They match their most important work with the highest energy period. They look at the most productive thing on the day, and they focus on it. Number three is that they work from priorities, not to-do lists. Most of you always work with to-do lists. They work from not to-do list to to-do list. They set goals for themselves. We are talking about the get-rich goals, not just any goals. The people who actually set goals achieve more because they know where they are going. And sometimes they might have 10 things to do, and they asterisk or hashtag some of those important tasks in the day because they focus on that. They know that if you want to go far, they focus on few things. Average performers often have long-term lists. When you look at average performers, they have a lot of lists. At the end of the day, they're not able to prioritize the kind of risk that they want to. High performers have clear priorities. Many wealthy people, entrepreneurs, focus on 3 major outcomes each day, rather than dozens of small tasks, and focus on vital few things instead of trivialized task or trivialize many tasks. Number 4, we are rounding up, is that they schedule everything day by day. Remember, we said 10 ways to be able to make use of your maximum hour. They set goals, they get scheduled done, they exercise, they learn daily, they look at family time, they look at business meetings, they look at strategic thinking. If something is not important, it's just a small time. It's time slots. But if something is very important, it's receive a huge amount of time. Don't leave important goals to chances. Number 5 is that they invest in continuous learning. Remember, allocation, multiplication, compounding. They look at continuous learning. Rich people are often a lifetime long learners. They're open to improvements, just like what we're told today, that we've got to be meek, we've got to learn, we've got to be open to teachable, we've got to be teachable. They are always teachable. How does this happen? They ask curious questions. And from curiosity, they ask, that does it really mean 2 plus 2? And how does it mean 2 plus 2? Actually, they question everything. They investigate. They find out what the truth is. Many of the world's wealthiest people today dedicate their time every day to reading and learning. When you look at it, wealthy people will take out 1 week to pay for what some people pay for 4 to 5 years to learn on a degree course, to learn it in 1 to 4 weeks. They learn it and invest in their mind. And as a mind surgeon, I have been able to do some of this. It is better to invest our time in our self-development rather than investing in what is perishable. As what you invest in will actually build knowledge and mind to expand your mind, because the more your mind expands, the more better you become. And that money sometimes might actually be very expensive. I always do it. We always do it in our organizations. In our family, we do that because the poor folks will rather want to spend more money to pepper people, but not in their knowledge and in their system. Outward appearance. And again, the wealthy people will spend to enrich their mind, to expand their mind. Instead of one day, they expand their mind, they expand their knowledge. They invest rather than buying the product. They want to be able to own the manufacturing plants, industry that own that product. They buy the business, and the factory will actually produce the perishable things that the poor people are actually buying on day to day. Bill Gates is known for reading extensively. Warren Buffett has often spoken about his spending large amount of time of his day reading and studying business articles. Common learning activities include books, reports, industry research, market analysis, podcasts. Learn compounding like money. Number 6, delegates low-value activities. The wealthy understand the difference between being busy and being productive. A lot of people are only busy, but they're not productive. Have you ever asked yourself a question? They delegate, automate, and also outsource tasks to require their own unique expertise. Most times, everything is automated in our organization. We look at administrative work, routine processes, and repetitive tasks. We hire people to be able to do those things, or we create a system to be able to do those things. Spend your time when you can create more valuable time. Number 7 is that they build time for thinking. Poor people don't have time to think because they're always in a noisy area. Their world is noisy, it's loud. Many successful leaders intentionally create quiet time for reflection, because the more money you have, the more quiet you want to become. That is why you see that the wealthy people always take break to a lonely place, a lonely island, where they can see nature, be able to speak to their team, to be able to connect without distraction of the internet, without phones. They use that hours of the day to tackle the most important thing. And they know that once the world is awake, distraction will creep in. And strategic thinking also help them to produce greater investment than constant activity. And this includes reviewing their goals, evaluating their opportunities, identifying risk, even making quality decisions, and also making long-term plan in anything they do, because better decisions often come from deeper thinking. If you don't think well, you cannot be able to produce results. Number 8 is that they protect their health. Poor people don't like to take care of their health. To go for a walk is a problem. To go to the gym is a problem. To go for jogging is a problem. The wealthy people recognize that health is an asset. They exercise, they eat healthy, they sleep adequately, they look at stress management. Without health, wealth becomes difficult to enjoy or sustain. Even my Bible also said, your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Your body is the vehicle that carries your purpose. You've got to know how to nurture this body. Number 9 is that they review their finances regularly. We sit down, we review as an organization, as a family, as an entity. Successful, wealthy people pay attention to their numbers, because number does not lie on reports. Women can lie, men can lie, but numbers doesn't lie. They regularly monitor their income, their expenses, their investments, the cash flow, the business performances. How is it doing? Because it is sanity for you to be repeating the same process over and over to be getting the same results. They know that what is measured can be improved. And financial awareness creates financial control. Number 10, which is the last one for the day, before we go, is at the end of the day, they end the day with reflection and preparation for the next day. Before they sleep, many successful people review what they have worked for that day, what did not work, what worked for them, what they have learned that is new. They have diaries, they take note of journals, they prioritize for tomorrow of what is important. Because my holy book also said, the plan of a diligent man leads to surely to abundance. Because every successful day begins with the night before. Finally, a simple formula that followed by many world creators is that many people do not just know how to manage their time, their hours, their day, their week, their years, but they lost. But when they lost, they can't be regained. Some days, there is another tomorrow. But then today is the tomorrow you spoke about yesterday. You've got to pray, you've got to plan, you've got to prioritize, you've got to produce, you've got to protect, and you've got to prosper. On this note, I want to wish you to say you've got to pray for wisdom, you've got to plan for the day, and you've got to prioritize high-value activities, and you've got to produce meaningful results. Protect your health, your time, your finances, and may you find success. May you get wealth. You already possess a seed inside you. You already possess a potential inside you. The question is, will you know how to allocate it or how to multiply it? I remain your host again, your mentor, your mind surgeon. And my name is Dr. Julius Oluwasegun. God bless you.
Subscribe now and join the conversation shaping the future of leadership, innovation, and global impact.